light on the camera is on now, so I hope we get image. I'm gonna have to wait for this to update. Welcome to another session. Today we are going to leave all the Twitch APIs and the dashboard behind for a bit. And yeah, I have camera, perfect. And we are going to do some redesign work. I have this one side project called Retroulette. So hear me out. It's about sprint retrospectives. I have been in a lot of sprint retrospectives in my time as a consultant, and many of them were not very good. And I want to change that. The ones that weren't very enjoyable were the ones that always had the exact same format and the exact same boring exercises. And I want to make sure that you have a list of activities available that you can pick and choose from to keep them more entertaining and to keep them more enjoyable. They can be good. They can be good. And what I had was this. I just threw something together. This is actually almost a year old. I created this in May of 2021 and didn't do much with it. I just had this illustration on there and just this one sentence. And as you can see, the footer is all messed up. The one with the little E here is actually an input field for an email address to subscribe to this mailing list. And it was just overall pretty terrible. And I took a few, I think 2 or 3 days last week to pimp that a little, to bring that up to speed. And it now looks like this. This is the retroulette.com site. Updated, it still doesn't have a lot on it. It has a few not placeholder text, a few initial paragraphs on it, trying to explain what the thing is, but I haven't finished with the content of this. Now, the way this works is when you plan a retrospective, you can start planning here, and it asks you, for now, just a single question. It asks you what stage your team is in, and that is something that a person came up with in the 60s, describing the stages that teams can be in. If teams just met, no one trusts each other, and they are there's some infighting maybe, or they don't really care about the goal of the team, and they're just all doing their own thing, or they have been working together for a bit, there is some tension, there are some arguments, which is good, which is better than people not caring, or they get to the stage where they're all kind of working together, it's still clearing up a little, and at that one stage they are performing very well, and everyone is working together, not perfectly, but if there are conflicts, they get resolved. And there is this last one where a team splits up and doesn't work together anymore if they all move on to new projects. Now, not all exercises work well for every stage of a team. You don't want to have an activity where everyone throws around a ball and tells us one interesting fact about themselves that the others don't know yet. That works very well for an early stage team, but if they've been working together for a few months, that doesn't really make sense. At the same time, you can't expect them to have this shared trust yet in the beginning, that they'd only develop much later. So this is one question that this asks you. And then if you say, my team is performing very well, you get a selection of activities that fit well with where this team is at. You would start with a happiness histogram, for example. You could do this one exercise where you have people put a sticky note on a thing. The activities themselves are less important. But in a retrospective, there are 5 stages. You don't want a retrospective to just be a complaining session. If you go into a retrospective and everyone just gets to air their grievances and gets to complain about how bad everything is and how mean their boss is and how they never get to do the things that they're supposed to work on, that's not useful. You want to have a retrospective that ends with a productive action plan with, okay, this isn't ideal, this isn't perfect yet, what we're doing here, what can we do to change it? Let's try these 2-3 things. Let's try this one thing for the next iteration. So to get to that point, you want to, and I'm getting to what we're doing today. And to get to that point, you first want to set the goal. Like where are we at? Where do we want to go? What is the outcome? What do we expect to get at the end of this meeting? Then you gather some data. What happened over the last iteration? What did we do over this last week, these last 2 weeks? And just tell me, what did we do? And then you try to figure out if things went wrong, why did they go wrong? Well, you want to develop insights. Okay, now we have this data, we know kind of what happened. Now let's figure out why that is. And then the next step, only after you understand why something happened, can you try to come up with a plan. Okay, what do we want to do over the next iteration? What are some actions that we can take, right? This is the most vital part of a retrospective. How can we improve? going forward. And then lastly, you want to see, okay, this meeting that we just had, was that any good? If that wasn't any good, what do we want to change about it? Because if a meeting, if an agenda for retrospective is very rigid and it's always the same thing, we always do the same post-its in the same order, and we always bring up the same topics, that's no use. That's not good for anyone. That's a waste of time. So what can we do to get more value out of this? But as you can see, while I have, you probably can't see, but while I have redesigned this, and this as a direction is decent. I'm okay with leaving it as it is. These next pages here, even with this selection, isn't quite, I'm not quite happy with that yet. And this one over here, this is the screen that we're going to work on today, that just is all over the place because there's some information that doesn't make sense, that doesn't need to be there. It's all stretched out. We could tidy this up a little. And oh, by the way, you can of course navigate through here. You get, for now, it's just very few exercises that I have on here. I think I have 2 activities per phase, but we're not going to worry about the content or the functionality, but have a few things that we don't need on here. For example, if we first set the team stage, our team is working together very well, or they are getting to know each other. There's maybe some conflict. I currently show you this activity here that is good for teams that are in these stages. That's good for a team that's performing, or that's good for a team that's about to split apart. But when you plan, and this is about to help you, about helping you to plan a retrospective, that information doesn't help you much. You only care about what it is that you can do right now. You don't care that you could use this in another stage as well. That might be interesting, but it doesn't help you get to your goal faster. And the duration here, where it says short, medium, and long, and then short and medium, retrospectives have usually their time box. You have an hour, we have 1.5 hours maybe, and if we only do exercise activities that take very long, we might get to only 2 or 3 of them, and then we have to cut it, and cutting it before we get to the interesting part is just painful because you don't get to the thing that gives you value. So what we are going to do now is we are going to look at these cards here, and we're going to try in Sketch to improve them, because this entire thing, even with the colored bar on top here, I don't know if that helps me at all. There is a lot of color going on here that might not need to be there. There's also, I mentioned the phases that we go through in a retrospective. These always stay the same. So these up here will always be about about setting a goal. And if we click through them, this one doesn't change at all. Like the duration could change between them. This one switches from medium to short. What stages this is good for can change. But this phase that we're in always stays the same. So it doesn't make sense to keep that in the card. We're going to move that up. And we are going to do that first in Sketch. Hey, can I put you here? Yes, I can put you here. I'm not going to worry about the full page layout at this stage. I am going to look at this list of cards. And, yeah, okay, this is about as much as they let me do. We're going to create a new page in Sketch, and this is the activity lanes. Let's say those are lanes because you can move along. Let's start with an artboard, just a random sized artboard, and we are going to draw a rectangle here. I usually go with sizes that are relatively realistic, so 320 could be a font size, so let's do that. And we see we have a slight shadow on these. This is styled with Tailwind CSS on the left here, and I'm going to try to replicate that in Sketch as best as I can. Let's see what we got. I don't need to look at the styles, I will need to look at the classes here, and this is the card that we want. We have white background color, we're going to do that in a second. Rounded shadow SM, and I have that prepared here. I have a shadow SM, so very slight shadow, and it was a BG white, so we are going to go have the colors prepared as well with white. Now the background color of the whole thing of the document is BG gray 100, so let's change the background color of the artboard as well. Gray 100, this is gray 100. And let's put some text on here. Let's put the name, so the weather report white on white isn't ideal, so let's see what this weather report, what the color of that is. And we have text gray. I'm not sure if you can see that well. This is text gray 700. So I am here also going to go gray. Where you go? There you go. Gray 700. And it is bold and it is base. So let's do base first actually, because that's going to override everything else. 16 and again 700 and font bold. That's just this drop down here. And this looks like this weather report over here. We have an uppercase R, so let's make it the same here. Sweet. Let's take this little description here, add another piece of text, but you are now smaller, right? So this text is text SM and not bold. So if I go UI text SM, that's 14 pixels, and your color is, what's your color? The color is text gray. It's inherited from the container. It's text gray 600, so just slightly below the heading 987600. And then we have this footer here. Let's add a footer, and we're going to move this into its own component in a second. And the footer we might not need, but we're just gonna have it in here for now. This is a footer BG gray 100, so that's the same color actually as the background color of the page. We can see here already there is supposed to be a slight, if we zoom in a little maybe, no, not you. How about you let me zoom in here? There is a very slight shadow around this, but you can barely tell that there's supposed to be a separation here. So either we're gonna have to increase the shadow, or we are going to have to change the color, or we have to do something completely different. Something entirely different with this footer here. It's the same here, it's barely visible that has a shadow. And let's on here put the team stages and the duration. Duration for now is just a word. Let's see if the sizes are correct. You are text XS. Both of you, so go here, text style, text XS, so a bit smaller still. And now for your color, we are going to have to go, what is the text color? I use 600 then. If there is nothing set, then that means it inherits from whatever its parent is, which is also, wait, up here, 600. Okay, so you are 600 as well. 600 here, and we're just gonna put the short, same as we have it here in this. I don't like what this looks like, but that's the point of this exercise. And the short I see has a larger text size, right? So you are text SM, which already is not ideal. Wait, no, not the opacity. Text SM, and color is explicitly set to 600 here. Whenever I change the appearance, it removes the color that I had set, which is a tad annoying, and it's italic. So Command I. Cool. And for these icons now, I have those in the Lovelycons library. That is weather, no, not weather report. That is overcast is one. That is the overcast icon. And we need the fog icon. And we need the sun or sunny sun icon. And cloud and thunderstorm, probably thunder. Thunderstorm, okay. Now clean you up all nice. Tidy, not quite that. You all go in a row, and we can put them in a group here as well. Makes it a bit nicer to work with. Tidy, and how much space is between them. If we highlight this, Each of you have a height of 6 and a width of 6, so that would be 24. And that's what they're already set to. Great. And you have space x1, which means space in the horizontal, like space between the elements of 1 unit, which is 4. Your color, though, is text gray 600, so I am going to tint you individually. Tint you all to 600. Cool. Now you over here. That we're gonna clean that up, and we're gonna turn this into a component in a second. And we have this tag here. What's this tag? It is, so first of all, let's write the word goal setting. This is about setting goals, and your font size is text XS. Set that first. Text XS. Set your color to be yellow 600. I have yellow here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I'm not sure if that still is the same color, because what I had as yellow might be, was that Ember now in Tailwind, but it doesn't matter. It's not going to stay like this anyways. And it also has a background color. I have to put this in a container here, and that is yellow 100. No border, thank you. Your fill is yellow 100. These two, goal setting and this, also go together, and the rectangle comes after that. Okay, and it has a border. It's rounded, and I think rounded, let me look this up. I think rounded in Tailwind is 4 pixels, unless we overrode it in the theme. Check it here. Rounded means border radius 0.25 rem, which by default is 4 pixels. Can do. So corners set to 4. Doesn't quite look identical yet, because this has, okay, what else do we have? We have px2. To make this easier to see, let's move you to a nice 200 on the x-axis. And if I have px of 2 and you are px2 is 8, so 8 pixels here, and then the text ends over here. Have to move you close and make you wider by another 8 pixels in the horizontal. And in the vertical we have py 1.5, and 1.5 is 6 pixels, so if I move you up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would mean that the container has to end here. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Does it look the same? I think the colors are different now, because these, I haven't updated the colors in this, but Tailwind has changed the default colors, like what yellow represents, but doesn't, we can use this. That doesn't have a huge impact. We're also going to do this header here. Oh, I remember this was rounded as well, right? The card usually is, and it is right here, also rounded. And just to emphasize this, we're gonna go 40. No, that is okay. So we know this is the corner radius of this card. We need to change it down here in the footer as well, because that doesn't update automatically, but only these bottom ones to 4. And then we want a header row all the way here, and this is probably also then it'll be the wrong yellow, but that doesn't matter. It's probably going to be the exact same colors as in this little goal setting element here, this little tag here, and this is the icon called weather report. Put you here, but you are not 24 by 24. You will be 33 by 33. No, this is H8 and W8, which is that 32 in Tailwind? I think that's 32. And tint you also to, right? Tint you to yellow 600. Yes, exactly. Cool. I'm gonna have that centered in here. And that is cool. Okay, that is good. Now let's move all of this into its own group, and let's turn that into a component because we want to reuse that a bunch. That is an activity. So it still looks the same, but we now have an activity over here, and that is not at all what I wanted. So the text has to go down here. I have this convenient fit action. It's 320 pixels wide, which makes it easy for me to do calculations going forward with this. I had forgotten to give this a border radius as well. Okay, now of course it's not aligned correctly. This is still pretty messy. The header. So we have, if this icon is 32 by 32, it's 32 by 32. I'm not sure why it shows me 33. Ah, there we go. Okay. No idea what's going on here, but this has a total height of 56. So that I was almost right on there. The icon is aligned in the center of the entire thing, and here in the vertical center of this. Then the weather report. So this whole white box, we see here this green border around it. And that is because it has a px4, so a padding on the horizontal of 4 units, and a padding of the vertical of 3 units. 4 is 16, so you go over here, just right on the edge of this. So 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 12 down, which is py3. And then from the heading to the text. Nope. Ah, there it is. I couldn't see it. MB1, so there's... This also is on... What? Nope. 16 here, and spans all the way across here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, also 16. The space between those two is MB 1.5, which is 6 pixels. And then from the paragraph, from this little description to this tag here, we have MB3, which is 12 pixels. So take this. Oh, this became ungrouped. 16 here, and what I say, 12. So select you and go down 12. And then down here we have another. Okay, it looks like there's too much padding here anyways, but from this to the footer is supposed to also be 12. Zoom in a little. Come here. We can just go like this and use this little box over here. No, not 13, 12. Team stages and duration are also, so on the side will be 16, so everything aligns on this at least. Yeah. How much padding is on this footer? It is also px4, py3, so same as in this white area. Take you down 1, 2, take you down 12. How much space is between the team stages and the duration? Not much. Not much. So how high? We can check how high the entire footer is, and then we can align it. The entire footer in this is 68 pixels. Go 68. These were the right size. And if this is 12 all the way around, that would mean that you also go... That's not what that looks like. Something is off a bit. py3 is 12 though. Okay. Each line is higher. Each line is 24. What does that mean though? I'm gonna move that anyway, so for now I'm gonna move it down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This text and these icons aren't aligned well, so we see there's a smaller gap at the top than at the bottom. Move you up a bit. How's it looking now? Nope, down 1 pixel. There we go. This is aligned now, and you also need to be... Move you all the way over here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 16 pixels from the side here. That means that the text short has to align with this, and also how do I align you with this text? Yeah, like that, why not? And move the entire card. We can't see, we can only see it very slightly that there is this shadow here. Move that up. And now the entire card is 298 pixels high, and we're gonna do 298. Okay, so we've just recreated what we have in the browser here, and we can now in this over here, so this resized, which is not ideal. No, wait, we're not gonna do that. So some of this, because the component that I have here, let's do 360 for you, doesn't need all that space. It's a bit narrow here, unfortunately, with the browser on the side as well. Because this card here is taller than the component on the right. That means that we need to do something about that. So we don't want everything to resize just by stretching. I, for example, want so I'm gonna put the header and this icon here in a group. Those will always go together. And I can say that I want this group to always have the same height. And we see this already adjusts to the height of this. If I now resize this component here, it will always stay, it's I think 68 pixels, but it'll move around. I don't want it to move around. I want it to always be pinned to the edge. Oh no, that is the wrong component. Over here I need to say this group I want to pin to the edge. So now, no matter how I resize this, the header row will always stay the same height, and we're going to do the exact same thing with the footer. We're going to put some things in the footer in a group. So duration, short, and this group of icons here. So all of these with the background color gray go into a group, and that group will always have the same height, and it will always be attached to the edge. Now, one thing this doesn't cover yet is what if we had a responsive design, and we're going to go up to 800 pixels wide, and we move this card to be wider. That's still not ideal. That's very much not ideal. That's terrible, actually. And let's resize you a bit, move you over here so we can all see all of you at the same time. And I can move this up. If we're just trying to recreate the card for now. Why is this so ugly? So this group, the entire group has the same height, always has a fixed height, is attached to the edge. Now why does it resize? Why does it stick to the sides? I didn't think I said that. But on the icon anyways, so come on, this is sometimes difficult to hit. This icon here we don't want to resize. It's fine if the yellow bar stretches across the entire width, but I want the size of this to stay the same. So I can just fix the size, and it'll always be that no matter how I resize it, how high or how wide, how tall or how wide I go, this will always be the same height. And I'm going to do the exact same for all of these weather icons down here. All of you stay that size as well, please. And the group that they are in, the group now stretches because they are all aligned here. The group is supposed to have the same width, and it's supposed to always be attached to the right edge. And in the group that it is in, so in this gray box, I want it to always be attached to the top. Because if I didn't do that on the weather group here, there we go, there we are. It's difficult to see now, but they do, I don't think they move, so we can actually leave that as is. Cool. And what else can we attach? So the short, the duration also I don't want to move around. It doesn't need to stay fixed in size, but I can't turn that off either. So okay, it's gonna stay in size. And I want to attach you. What's going on now? I told it to always attach to the edge. What if I tell you to right align the text now? Okay, apparently that makes a difference. That is... okay. Okay, so the container grew because the text could grow. I could have fixed the size, but then if I have a longer text or have a shorter text, it will move around, but it makes sense for the right edge of this to be right aligned. Cool, and these texts over here, these labels, we are going to attach to the left. And what does that look like? I think that's good enough. Now, of course, the text in the middle here, that still goes all over the place. When we resize, and we see that quite well in the top version, I want you to always be at the left edge, like pinned to the left edge, where I have you here at 16 pixels. Please stay there. And same for this description, always stay attached to the left edge, and you little tag here also stay at the left edge. Do I want you to stay? For now, yes, I want you to stay the same width also. Now what happens if I attach this to the... okay, that isn't, because I'm not sure. I am sure, okay. These still resize a bit, which is what is this? Okay, I create an empty group. If this resizes now, okay, I want this little tag to keep the same height. So this was a bit excessive when we resized it. No, I want you to stay. I want this tag here, this entire group though, to stay the same width and height, and I want to attach you to the bottom. Nice. So it always, if I resize the card, we can see that quite well here in this narrow version. It would always move down. The text still moves, which isn't great. So we are going to group it. We're going to group it. The title and the description go into a group, and I want the... that just moved, right? Because now the text, it's still pinned to the edge, but it's pinned to the edge of its group, and the group moves. We can see that if we hover over here, I think. No, it doesn't. Does it let me see that? It doesn't let me see that. But I need to make sure that the group those are in, that is also attached over here and to the top. Now the space between them is excessive. What can we do about that? If I attach you to the top as well, that would work, but where's the... why are you so close together now? Like, there is some space between them here, but that seems to disappear both in this and in that version. So we are going to give this group a vertical layout, and that doesn't do anything. That's not fantastic. So maybe I don't have to... I shouldn't pin you. Maybe I don't pin you. Okay, not pinning you is the right direction, but what is happening? I'm pretty sure this is something about how the group is set up here. And I cannot see which one of these it is, so I don't want to fix the height. Do I? If I fix the height, the container stays the same height. It stays to it stays at 4 lines, which isn't... damn, which pin is it? Where do I pin what now? I don't want the header to be... do I have to give the entire thing a layout? Before we continue with this though, let's look at... I think let's leave it at what it is. Because we're only gonna look at a layout, and we're gonna look at that layout just in this presentation here. That is good enough. We can live with that. Okay. So now, because I have a few different stages and they have different colors, I'm gonna take the color out because the color doesn't really matter. If we now... okay, so what we have also is I can now take this and I can duplicate it and I can move it down here, and I can say, let's also put the story awards in here. Take the text, and where it says weather report, go story awards and the text. This needs layout now, otherwise it's going to explode. Oh, okay, this resized. I did not, that's what I wanted. I wanted it to resize like this. That is perfect. But instead of goal setting, this one says gathering data. This doesn't resize, so we have to give you, this group, a horizontal layout, and there it resizes. And now these are the same width. These are not the same width, but this has updated with the text that we added. Gathering data, look at how this updates. It takes a second to catch up, but it will resize with this now. Same as it would in HTML. Cool. And I have this little, first let's replace the icon with a, no, not this icon. The icon that is a weather report right now, then that is a trophy. A trophy. Cool, but there were a few things that we wanted to fix about this. For one, the tag in here, it doesn't need there at all. Let's draw a connecting line between these two. There's this very small line that's supposed to show, hey, these are connected. Everything is connected. Make that 2 pixels wide. Give that a gray of, I could check, but I'm gonna go, no, this is too dark. Maybe that, I think that is what it is. And center you on the page. So that's kind of what it looks like at the moment. Now, since the type, the phase doesn't change, it doesn't need to be in every single card. I don't need to repeat it across cards. So goal setting in this lane will always be goal setting. It doesn't make sense to keep it in there if it can never change. So let us hide it. Let's remove it. Cannot hide the group. There we go. Hide the group. And instead, I am going to just write that on top of the card. So we are in, I forgot what it was. Goal setting. And we're gonna make you text SM. Do I want this to be in a tag now? I don't think I do. I don't think I do, so we're gonna go just put it on here. We're gonna see what works well in a bit. And we're also going to down here, that one was the lane that says gathering data. Gathering data, put some space between you. So we have to resize this artboard. Move you here, move you down. Gathering data and put some space. There, it's attached here, and let's attach you down here as well. Like so. Now it's a bit lost, because these now in my head compete a little. Everything that is colorful, let's do grayscale. And if we keep everything at grayscale, we can focus on the content and we can worry about the presentation later. I'm not sure if we want to give them colors again. We might not. So that already doesn't, like this shade of gray doesn't work. Maybe we want the entire page to be lighter. Let's just, for now, make it a bit lighter, or just make it white. We can just keep it at white. This doesn't look good at all. Okay, so we are going to make you gray. This, to be visible, needs to be a darker shade. Whether it's gray or another color doesn't really matter, but it can't be just the same color. Let's do that. We just want to be able to see that there is a difference between them. And same for the footer. Is not perfect, but it shows us, hey, there's supposed to be some contrast here between the background and the foreground. Now the team stages, I said, if you're planning a retrospective and you want to know what activities can I select, you only care about where you are at right now. Up here, I show what team stage was selected previously. These need to be breadcrumbs. Later I need to change that. But it doesn't help me that I am in right now the norming, which I think Which one's norming even? I think this one is norming. It doesn't help me seeing these, so I am going to hide you. I'm going to hide this group, and I'm going to hide the word that says team stages, the label that says team stages. And now in the footer we only have this short here. We can make this a bit, now this resizes. Pin you, and then we can resize this group, right? Can we? Yeah. Now we only have the duration in here, and there's probably a better way to show that. We might not need the word duration on all of them. That's a bit busy, that's a bit much. What we also can try, so there is a connection between all of these phases. You always go from goal setting to gathering data, to developing insights, to deciding on actions, to closing, to close out the retrospective. Now, so I like the idea of having those connected with a line. That I think is quite neat. But does it need to be connected at this stage? And does this need to be on a card anyway? So we see the shades of gray. That's bothering me a little, and I want to try something completely different. I want to try something entirely different with this entire element. So I am going to copy it, and I am going to just call this activity 2. And I am going to, in this now let's actually also duplicate you. In this, because this is now an activity, I can switch to a component. I can switch it to activity 2, and when I make any changes, so let's say we are going to remove the duration for now. Oh, that was the wrong one. And so that here I have 2 different versions of this component, 2 variants, and if I remove it in here, I only remove it on this side, and this one stays unchanged. That is good. Now, do I need this to be super colorful? Because if we have a wide display, and there's just a big yellow as it is right now, if there is a big yellow or pinkish bar across the top, does that help me at all? Or is the content maybe, I mean, that's a leading question. Yes, the content is more important than, oh look, I have cool icons. I like showing off my icons. I'm quite proud of my icons, but that isn't what this page is about. I have lovelycons.com to be about icons. So I'm gonna try just taking that down quite a few notches to focus this on the actual content of the, what did I just do? I didn't know I could drag that into the browser. I could drag that out of Sketch, that is neat. And we are going to try and tone this down a lot. So if we don't need these icons, instead of this being 32 by 32, let's take it back down to 24 by 24. This we can make so let's round you everywhere. No, this is the round everywhere button. And go around this icon. And that looks decent in height. Does it? So yeah, we're gonna go 48 by 48 on a 24 by 24 pixel icon. You two are still grouped. Put you like this. And this group we are going to move over to this edge. And then this content group we can move over here. Put some space between them. What are we gonna put? Let's try 20. And the text now is, the description text is too wide. Move you here. And it doesn't need to be all this tall anymore. And I think I can even remove this group. I don't think I need this group anymore, if that's all that I have in here. This remove, what was that? That was the goal setting tag. Just get rid of it. Weather report, and between these two we are going to put, I don't know, 12 pixels, 6 pixels, and we are going to pin the text to the top and to the edge. Sweet, and the card in the background we no longer need. I just want to see what that would look like. And if I now, I think I still need to do something with layout. Do I? off. Why is this the way that it is? Pin to the top. Okay. Oh no, where the spacing's still off. Move you down another 10. Span you across the entire width. Here. And why? And the resizing. This was a bit off. Move you down. Nope. What am I changing now? You to the edge. Move you down. And between these two we want to put, let's say, 6 pixels. Now, if this was already, I think I'm liking this a bit more, because it's just so much less busy. I don't think you can plan a full retrospective just with this. I would like to give more information. I potentially like to show some pictures and give some hints on how to do one of these activities. So I'm imagining that these would have separate pages. So I want to link somewhere. Of course, the title itself will be clickable, but this calls for a read more link. Read more, and we are going to make that blue. And I think by default in the pros class of Tailwind typography, that is 600. And let's also make it just slightly heavier. Put you here, 6. Okay, I need to fix this layout because this is atrocious. This isn't good. But the icon is here. Okay, what is happening with layout? This needs a vertical layout. Does it? Or does it first? Because if we nest flex boxes here, if we think of this like flexbox containers, we first would nest horizontally, and then we would take these, put them in their own group, and give that a vertical layout. Now the read more link just completely disappeared. I have this, sometimes it shows up, sometimes it doesn't show up. Size instances to fit content. If I click this, it's not completely what I want. Because while the link is now there, we see by this yellow border we have here, let me turn that off. By this orange border that we have here, that the component itself isn't as tall as the content. Let's do the resizing on this one as well, and we see there is more space than this needs. But that might be because this is, damn it. Adjust content on resize, take this off. You here, okay, now this is the right height. But this still isn't, and these are only the same height because this is the same number of lines. If I give you vertical layout, I had this set to a fixed size. I had this description set to a fixed height, so even though it grew, it was probably calculated at that height. And can you give me the resize icon? I don't know why the resize icon doesn't appear. Doesn't always appear. What else could it be? So if we pin this to the edges, maybe this group with the content and resize now, that is not it. So I haven't figured out the magic combination of buttons to click to make the layout in Sketch work nicely. Take this off. Why won't you give me the resize button? At the end of the day, like for where I am now, what I'm trying to do, that is okay. That is okay because I only need to be able to see what this will look like, and if I now have to go like this, that is okay. That is fine. I'm okay with that. And what happens when no, still doesn't. It doesn't do it quite exactly how I wanted, but I am going to ignore that for now. So this, it looks a bit neater. It looks less busy than what we have here right now. And it doesn't shock me with too much information. tells me that I can go somewhere else, but one of the things in this is that it's supposed to be like a roulette of activities, where you can switch between activities that you might want to do. So I have in this a left and right button that I want. One thing that I noticed that I think we saw earlier that I don't like is that when I click, this moves. This jumps, and sometimes it can jump so much that I can no longer click it. If I don't keep them at exactly the same height, it will disappear out from under the pointer. And we need those arrows somewhere. Also, they are now no longer connected. And I could connect, how could I connect them? So I could connect them like this. Oh, that's actually, if you move closer together, let's put 80 pixels between you. Doesn't need to be super narrow. Where would I put the information that these are the activities? And let's do a full retrospective. Let's look at what this would look like if it was 5 activities, or at least let's do 3 or 4. Now I don't. So I think this needs to go around here. I want you to be pinned to the bottom. I don't know how to do the resizing properly in this. I don't know why this doesn't give me just the right height. Huh. I know it's probably one of these buttons here, and I'm not hitting the right one. If I don't set you to a fixed height, is it the order? Is it the order? No. So this is a group, it's pinned to the edges. Maybe it doesn't need to be pinned to the edges. Something happened, something changed. That could be a good sign. I want to be it's pinned to the left and right. Why did the blink now disappear? That's confusing. No, okay, we're down to this. I'm gonna give up fixing this now. None of this seems correct. I have one more that I can try. So we have auto height set on this, auto height set on this, auto width set on this. What does that mean, and do I have to change that? That wasn't it at all. Okay, so let's undo that and let's move on. Let's move on. What other activities do we have? We have so story awards we had here. It doesn't really matter what I pick now, right? But let's do a fun one. Let's do speed dating. Let me do speed dating and use this description. And this speed dating icon. Speed dating. Cool. And because that was easy to add, let's add smart goals as well. Duplicate you and go smart goals. That needs the light bulb on icon. Light bulb on. And just let's change the description as well. I think read more makes sense, like sending users to another page, because there's only so much I can do on a single page. This already seems a bit busy. Move you up. And now let's connect. What is connected though? Is it the activities that are connected? Kind of, yes. Because we move from stage to stage. I want to show what stage each activity is about. I can't align it here. Because if I did align it here, then I couldn't align gathering data on top of the icon as well, because the line would go through it. I could ignore that. I could give this a background color where the line doesn't, or I could have the line end early. What would it look like if I just had the line go up here? These would need to be smaller. No, we're going to keep it at that size, but we are going to make you a bit lighter. We can even go 500, I think. And if we put you at semi-bold, then it would look terrible. Then we're not going to do that. Medium looks okay. It's competing a bit with the description here. Am I sure this is the right size for the description? Because this looks larger. Let's inspect element. Let's see what the Tailwind class is. No, it is set to text SM. I might want to change that, but we're gonna... Let's keep it for now. And this is still text SM. Okay. Let's keep that. Where else could we put this? I don't want it to be as in your face as it is right now. I don't want it to be this colorful badge down here. We could move it to the title. How'd that work? So if I moved you all down, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. What if I kept it in the activity, but I made it part of the header here? So I want somewhere to have additional information. It's not. I'm not loving this. I'm not in love with what this is turning out to be. If it says goal setting here, and let's between the two of you put 2 pixels, move you up 2 pixels. Why is that resizing now? Didn't I set it to be auto height back to 320? Nope, that was not enough. You go here, and the space between the two of you, let's say 12. And can you not adjust when I resize you just now? Goal setting, the next one is gathering data. What would it look like? I think this is too much in your face. Gathering data. Developing insights. No, my leg's asleep. That is uncomfortable. And where it says goal setting down here, that is deciding on actions. But this is competing with the headline way too much, and it's even larger than the description here, so it needs to go down in size. So you go text XS, gonna set you to 500 again, text gray 500. And do I want you to be medium? I might not even want that. So move you up 3 pixels. Then everything else can go up 1, 2, 3 as well. Can resize this 1, 2, 3. Why did this just break these? Why did this just break the links? Why would okay, this doesn't need to be pinned here or here. Resize you, there we go. Maybe. So if we assume that these can go. No, I don't want it to be medium. This is catching too much attention. It doesn't need to be all that in your face. This could make sense where you are in the, you want to see this is about goal setting. This is a goal setting activity. Again, it doesn't really change, so I don't think it needs to be in there, but I can't find a better place for it. I can't find a space where really this would need to go. What's happening here? Why are you resizing all weird? Why are you resizing all weird? Why are you not staying at 320? What's this? What? No, okay. this is a mock-up. This isn't the final thing, so it's okay if things move around a little and aren't super pretty. I am okay with that. Still not loving the how this appears here, but I can live with it. I can live with it. I can live with it. Yes. We want to have these connected, so a line here. And then move another one down here very slowly. There we go. And another, okay, I think we can leave it at, let's pretend retrospective is just for activities. That doesn't hurt what we're trying to do. How are we liking this over what we have here? I still need to put the button somewhere. How do I move to another activity? I feel it is connected to each lane. It doesn't need to be on the left and right, because if I made this narrower, if I made this more narrow, let's look at this in a responsive design. If we were on an iPhone SE, this is already how much we see. So having left and right buttons on the side of it, like this is unusable. If we rotated that, it would become a lot better. But having this be one column and arrows on the side doesn't work. We might be able to do that responsively, where we say the buttons are somewhere else, and then as we scale up, as we get to like this width here, 480, then funny how that's always the screen sizes, then we can say buttons go to the side. But until then, I need to have them somewhere else. And do I want to make this an actual Retroulette? Yes, the project is called... Oh, wait, sorry. Project is called Retroulette, saying you're kind of... It doesn't really fit. Doesn't really fit. It's a silly play on words that doesn't quite match what I'm trying to do, unfortunately, but I just like the logo so much, and I enjoy the name. So, do I want to have a random button, or do I want to have a left and right button? I think left and right, for how I'm planning them, makes more sense. I can go to, I remember this was on the right of that, and we are going to do left and right buttons. But I think, just looking at this, over here, just looking at this, I believe that moving it out of the cards makes sense. It's a bit more minimalistic. It's a bit less in your face. It doesn't quite help you with the duration yet, so I might have to put that somewhere. Huh. But that could be an icon. So if I have durations short, medium, and long, I could have an icon here that represents that in the top right, because it is important information, but it's secondary. But we need to do the left and right buttons first. So we are going to put you on here always. I don't know what's up with the layout. I don't understand what this is doing. Now vertical layout works better. Okay. Does that mean that if I give you a horizontal way? None of this seems to make much sense to me. What if I don't give you a layout? What if I just make you a group? Stuff's moving and I don't understand why or where. Okay, but buttons. We are going to ignore that all of this is messed up. We can resize them in a bit. Buttons. Do I want to have the buttons in the... Like in the header doesn't make sense. I'm thinking I will put them below the read more link. And let's see if we can... Oh, we can reuse the element that we had earlier, that we had just hidden, and show you. Let's say you are previous. Oh, and the layout disappeared. Didn't this have layout before? Why are you doing this to me? Okay, it doesn't have that layout in the component, in the symbol. Previous and next. And let's give you a nice little arrow as well, because that's better. I don't know if that's better. Little previous button and next button. Now if I make them buttons, they will be different widths, because the word previous is just longer than the word next by a few letters. By twice as many letters. And because we are in a mockup phase, we are going to put you as gray as well. I'm going to use a darker color to show this will be clickable later. And put you as this as well. I think a link would not be ideal, because a link would then compete with the read more, and a link leads somewhere, and a button does something. So if I want to change something on this page, if I want to submit something, if I want to activate something, if I want to toggle something, that would need to be a button. So I think buttons for previous and next, or for any kind of pagination, just inherently makes more sense. No, not this. Move you here. Give you quite a bit of space, so let's move you down here. The next button, no, the entire button goes here. And you move you in just a bit. No, move you in just a bit more. Maybe that could be it. Maybe if we make this like a grid situation. Okay, now I have to, if I don't fix the layout, this is not gonna work at all. Why are you so messed up? And why is this work? Okay, so by removing some layout, I think I solved the issue, because if I resize it now, yeah, it just works perfectly. It resizes them to exactly the right height, depending on how much content is in them. Okay, now we can put some even space between you, so tidy you up and put 80 pixels between you. What are you doing here? You go down here, please. And actually, let's, instead of having to do this every single time I change something, move you up to 20. Damn it. I have to move you up 39 pixels, so down 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just have one single line go down, starting at, I don't know, 80, 60. And make you 800 pixels tall. And if I, nope, that wasn't enough, 1200 pixels tall. There we go. And if I move you towards the back, then you won't run through the icons. Otherwise, if I didn't do that, then it would cover my icons like this, and that's not ideal. Cool, move you here. These buttons seem busy. They seem pretty busy. They seem pretty busy because as they are, they take a lot of attention. They require a lot of attention, so maybe they need to be a bit, let's try brighter. And change the rectangle and rectangle here. Because this is a symbol, we can change it at one location and have it update over here automatically. That is better. Now, does that mean that I am going to, if it's slightly rounded, if it has a border radius of 4 and it looks like this, that would mean it's clickable. That would mean that I would have to make this icon up here with the name clickable as well, and I can, honestly, but I could also try making this a bit darker. I could even invert it. What if I went the other way around? What if I said you are dark with a light icon? With a light icon. That is way too much in your face. That isn't it. That isn't what I'm going for. And let's do, so not all the way this dark. We're looking at shades now. We're not looking at colors. We're looking at how heavy do we want this color to be. If we move it up a little, maybe. But would we see from this that this isn't clickable? And it takes no. I want to stay lighter. Do I need this icon to be? Yes, I kind of like this icon. I kind of want to keep an icon there. So I'm gonna live with, if people want to click it, let them click it. I am going to stick with that. And we could try different colors for this. And we are an hour and 10 minutes in. I have another maybe 15 minutes left in me. Let's see if we can update it. Let's see if we can take this to the browser now. I have an activity. Then I'm just gonna do it. So I'm gonna stay with this for now. Previous and next. Let's make you a bit brighter. Yeah, I know the next button isn't perfect, so let's actually kind of like not this, but the size, the details we can then fix in the browser. If I put you two in a group and I center align you with this group, maybe that could work. I'm not sure how well that would work on a large display. So if we did this, actually we can take that here, we can increase the width. And let's just resize all of you. There you go. And now I need to fix everything again. Now I need to, for this activity, I want this group to always be pinned to the left. Okay, it is this background color here that resized. There we go. And pinned here as well, pinned to the left top edge. No wait, not of this, but of the entire group. I think I could have saved myself a bit of time here. I don't think you need to be fixed. Okay. And I have this goal setting label as well. You are pinned to the top and left edge. Is there a resize now? I'm not sure why you won't let me, but yeah, okay. But looking at the buttons, that was what I was worried about. They will shift. They will move if the text between activities is different. And that was one of the things that I complained about earlier, that I didn't like about the current implementation. But I could move them at the top of the activity. That's something we can play around with. But let's move into code now, I think. Yeah, let's open up the terminal. And let's tmax attach. I think I could do this in Xcode, not Xcode, in Visual Studio Code quicker. But we're gonna try this. We're gonna see where we can land, and keep in mind this is the current live version, so that's not going to that's going to change now. I am going to go to my Retroulette project. I am going to close it. What branch am I on? I'm on the main branch, so co git checkout branch, updated activity card. It is called an activity card, which is unfortunate because it's not going to stay a card now. Is it called activity card? Or is it called activity? Activity components, activity. It's just called an activity. Perfect. And we are going to, here we can only zoom in. It's good if we zoom into this. I don't think, yeah, we're gonna zoom into this. What do we have? So we have a header. There was a full width W full header with the color. That will no longer be a header. We're just gonna keep this as a div. It doesn't need to span the entire width. but it now needs to have some padding. So if this is 24 by 24, the icon, and this is 48, and I have a difference of 24, I want to have a padding of 12 pixels around, which is 3. So P3 on this. There is no why was there a space X on the header? That doesn't matter. That didn't do a thing before. And put the color. So these header class names are just the color, the text color, and the background color. PY3 we can remove. And you, and you, and you. And with that change, let's see what it looks like in the browser. Oh, this is not the local version. Localhost. Retroulette is 3008. Okay, gonna go through this real quick. Start planning. We are a storming team. Continue to activities. This is not what I had in mind at all. Why is that happening? Ah, because I put an okay, I need to put another div in you. And what do we put on this? Just the entire thing, because I had the size and the padding in this at the same time. Sorry, last name, remove that. For you, so for the container, I just need this to be, yeah, the one with the flex, the flex container. The icon itself, I need to just have a height. So remove these classes. This all needs to be H8 and W8. And the header classes we can remove. And this we can remove. What's it look like now? Unchanged. Did I just not do something? Are you inline flex? Why are you wide? There we go. This is what I had in mind. I wanted to round it as well, so give it the rounded class. P of rounded. I'm not gonna do shadows for now, might do shadows later. Okay, and the card, actually, this is all in a card component now. That is the one with the background color and with the border radius and everything that I am going to remove. Yeah, so that is gone. And we can also, actually, to make this nicer, let's do this all on one screen. That is a bit easier to see then, if it updates at the same time. And the Safari as well. You go down here. So we have Safari in the bottom left. This is a flex, this is a bad flex layout. We have Sketch in the top right. And you, I don't need to see all of this. Show me, hide the interface. What was that? Hide interface is command period. So like this, I think I can remember roughly what they were supposed to be. And we have the code over here. Sweet, I need a window manager. I know. And we have, what do we have? Now we have the icon. This needs a few things. This needs two layouts now. This, first of all, has a flex layout in the horizontal, because I want the icon, no, not flex, div class name flex. I want the icon and the content to be next to each other. And I said I was going to remove the footer, just all of it. I don't need the team stages, and I'm not gonna need the duration for now. This has to come back eventually. So do this. And I want you in this flex container. So wait, before we do something about the flex container, the body here, so where it says goal setting, title, and description, I don't need to have any padding on it. So this is just it'll be a container in a second. Now I need some space between them, and I think I put it to 10 pixels. So flex space x 10 pixels in Tailwind is 2.5. And items, right now they are the flex children of this icon and the description here. Those are stretched. Actually, let's consider this for a second. That's not bad either. Might leave it at that. And we're gonna remove the buttons. Those are in the activity lane though. The next and previous button, I had those in a flex container. I'm gonna move you next to each other. Gonna put you in a div. And close the div. Now they are on this side here, but I want to... It's not bad either, but not what we're gonna do for now. We're gonna do a flex... It doesn't need to be a flex container. It needs to be a flex container. Flex call. Item center. That's kind of roughly what we have here. Back to the activity. Now we can move this goal setting to the header. We don't need to put it in a face tag. I call this a face tag component because it was clickable, still appears clickable, when really it isn't. And you are just a span where it says the activity phase. And move you down. See how much time we actually saved by doing this in Sketch. We could move it around in Sketch quickly. What did I do? What did I do? With keys slack title. What did I do? Ah, because activity phase is an object. It needs to be activity phase title. That's the phase tag took that out before. By staying with the Tailwind CSS conventions, by using the same colors, I can now quickly move, and remember I gave this a text size of XS, text XS. I think I didn't set it to medium, but I made the text gray 500, right? Let's confirm that. Let's actually bring back the inspector. And I had the text set to XS. The color was set to gray 500 and it was set to regular. So this is the same. Does it look okay in the browser? It kind of looks a bit tiny, so I might change the font sizes of both this and the description. It's good to do these things in the browser as well. And you are resizing. So I want the items to not stretch. Items start. Should keep this here. The buttons need some space between them, so in this div, I'm gonna go class name space x is again probably like 10 pixels, so 2.5. And I am going to keep it at the just as the circles for now. That doesn't hurt. That's okay. Yeah, that is okay. And that's already pretty close. We have a read more button, a read more link that I want to add. And that we're going to do down here after the description of the activity. I know this will be a link tag later. So we are going to just redirect it to the home page for now. I don't have these pages set up for the activities, but that needs to come later. Import link from next link, and then the A has the class names on it, and it says read more. And what was it? It was what does it look like if I don't set any other classes on it? Because I think I have some defaults. No, I don't. Okay, so we set you to font medium. We can confirm that here by looking at... Oh, the star is gone. So this is font size 14. We're going to set U to 14, so this is text SM. Reset the color to blue 600 and the weight to medium. So you are text SM and text blue 600. Read more, and that is that. This was set to bottom margin of 3 before. And we have, what do we have? We have a distance of 3 pixels between these two. Then the weather report resized for some reason. What did you, wait, what? Reset you to base. And I think it was bold, was it? Yeah, so this was bold, MB 1.5, so that had 6 pixels to the next, and then from here, so okay, we're gonna stick with that. So we're gonna say, I thought we could maybe do space Y, so it always has the same distance between the elements, but maybe having them not be exactly the same distance from each other isn't a bad thing. So we're gonna go MB 3, doesn't exist in Tailwind. So we're gonna go 4 pixels from this, and from the title to the description is 6, which is 1.5. And then from the description to the link, we have 12, which is MB3. This updates. And there we go. Is that right? Is that it? Let's put a background color BG pink 500 to see if those are aligned correctly. I set the icons, okay, I set the icons to be 24 by 24, which is 6 Tailwind units. Did I? Is it? Is that a good size for the icons? No, not at all. This looks tiny. Is that bad? Is that okay? Is that good? I don't know. So we're gonna look at this in a second. We're gonna be done in a few minutes anyways. I want to move this little gray bar over. And that was in the... Where did I have that? I think that was on the phase slug page? Stage slug page. Where's the... Yeah, there is the connector here. So that is, I have an activity lane. I have 5 activity lanes for each of the different activity, for each of the different phases. So it's not actually an, yeah, it is an activity lane. The activities for this specific phase. Don't look at this too closely. This is a bit messy still. And then I had the connector there. This needs to be positioned absolutely now. So this BG pink 500, this is the container that we're looking at now. Everything that is pink, and we need to have this connector go from one activity all the way to the next. So I'm going to set this to be relatively positioned, and then the connector itself is going to be absolutely positioned. And let's look at what we have. If this is, the connector is, how wide is it? Just 8 pixel wide. We're gonna have to make that 2 pixels. Is that a thing in Tailwind? Just 2 pixels wide. And it is. W 0.5 exists. So 0.5 for you. Oh, did I? What? Where'd it go? The stage, no, phase slug. No, stage slug, sorry. This page here, position absolutely. It's now connected to the top, and we can move it down. We can move it down a little. So T, move it down from the top. 1 unit, which is 4 pixels. So we want to move it down much more than that. If we do 4, we want to move it down as much as this icon here is high, and that is 48 pixels, which is 12 units. Right, that should be right. And so that we can see it better, let's actually zoom in a lot. Yeah. So it moved down here, and I think from the left we want the same. Left 12. Okay, so this would be the entire width of the container, and it's attached. This will be important in a second. This is attached to the end, so we first have the container and then we have this thing. So if I go left 6, which is half of 12, I would be in the center of this, but not quite. I'm slightly off center. I'm ever so slightly off center by a pixel. To center this with that, I have to move it to the left just a teeny tiny amount, and I think I can use a negative margin for that despite the horizontal positioning. So we have a margin of 1 pixel. If I go left, so ml/px would be 1 pixel, but that would be in the wrong direction. If I go negative ml-px, that'd be here. And then we need to attach it to the bottom as well. So if I go bottom 0, why does that not do anything? Okay, that doesn't do anything because it's not attached to anything. This has a fixed height. Okay, that worked before when I had a fixed space between them. That no longer works. So because this now needs to span the height of each of these activities, I think I can move that down a little. Because that needs to span the height of the activities. I mean, I could leave it at this. I could leave it here, but I would never be able to finish it exactly with this. This connector needs to become a part of the activity. So it's cool that I did all the stuff here with the, where's set to relative? It's cool that I did that here, but that's not where I need it. But this is where I want to put some space between the components. So if we go space Y, and I had it set to 80 pixels before, white space can't hurt you. You can add a lot of space between them. Let's leave it at that actually. And I remove the connectors here, which is nice. That is nice. But I now need to, sometimes this being weird. I now need to move this to the activity. And let's make each of the activities bright pink, because that's terrible. BG pink 500, just so we can see it again. Where'd my page go? There we go. So it is now, we now have, okay, this is also interesting to see. This is now an absolutely positioned little line that is positioned at the top 12, left 6 of wherever this is attached to. For it to attach to one of these pink blocks, I need to make this pink block a relatively positioned block. So if I go relative here, then it moves down. Oh. Oh. There is now some space here that wasn't there before. Because I can't have the, okay, I can't have the space X here. So let's actually do all this positioning as part of another div. I know all those divs, isn't that beautiful? And we're gonna make the div, yeah, just the div copy, the class names here actually to a view. And only the outer one will have the color and the relative positioning, and the inner one will then be the one with the layout. And the connector needs to be on the same level as the one with the layout. So you here, you have just this, You don't have the relative positioning. Cool. So now everything moved back. The icon is on the left edge of this, and we can't see the bar very well because it's a light gray on a light gray. What is a terrible color to put this as? Let's say blue 600 just to see it. And let's, yeah, this is bad. Okay. Okay, this is a bit better. Now we want to move this down. It's connected on three sides. It's connected on three sides. It's connected on three sides. From the top, we have a distance of 12. From the left, it's a distance of 6. Then we move it back 1 pixel because it's a 2-pixel line. And then at the bottom, it's attached at 0. If I moved it to bottom 5, activity, if I moved it to bottom 5, that would be 5 tailwind units from the bottom up. I want to move it to, if I did minus bottom 5, negative bottom 5, it'd be from the bottom down. And it's always the same distance between all of them. They all have the same 5 here. Now we know that the space between these here is, oh, what happened to the arrows? Okay, so, okay. This will be a bit unfortunate, but we can make it work. We first have to go bottom 80 and, no, it's 80 pixels between them, so that's 20 tailwind units. And we're so close. Now we're missing the height of these buttons, and I'm gonna say they are, how tall are they? These buttons are 40 pixels, which is another 10 tailwind units. So if we go 30, then we broke it because that doesn't exist. Tailwind by default doesn't have a bottom 30 or a top 30. We don't want it on that last one though. So we need to add in the, where was it? I think here I need to add the information that this is the last activity lane. Is last, and for the last one I don't want to show it. Oh, it needs to go on the activity lane. That makes it easier. That makes this easier. So undo a lot of what I did now, because the activity doesn't care about the line. The activity is just the activity. We could move it somewhere else and it wouldn't suddenly grow a line. So we can remove the div here. Good. That didn't feel quite right. Now we can add this to this activity here. So we're going to repeat the same thing that we did in the activity, just in the activity lane, where we have, okay, so we have the same setup, same styles, just now on this container, and it now, oh, beautiful, that is perfect. So I'm going to show you, this is great, this is great. If we do bottom 0 now, it is attached to the bottom, but it now includes the height of the arrows because we moved it into the parent container that has both this element and the buttons. And now if I go bottom negative 20, or let's say negative 18, so we can see that it is correct. Negative 18 doesn't exist. 16 it has, so there is this slight gap here. If we just move it to 20, there we go. Now, do we want this to stay in pink? We do not, so we can remove that background color. And the blue is a bit obnoxious. For the last one, right, that's what we did. We passed to the activity lane, the property is last. So we need to put that here, is last. And because we're going to type this, is last is an optional Boolean. And we only want to render this line if this is not the last. So not is last. Okay, I'm going to see. I'm not sure if that's going to work. And it did. Okay, cool, nice. It added the line to all of them, except for the last one, because we have set is last on it. But blue is terrible, so we are going to go with gray. 600. Now we don't need sketch anymore, actually. That is a bit heavy. That takes too much attention. Let's go down to 400. Still a bit much. 200. It's very slight. Let's try 300. I think 200 is probably fine. Yeah, 200 is fine because 300 is a bit too heavy. And there we go. I think for now this is where I'm gonna call it a day. This is sufficient. Let's compare it to what is live. So we're gonna take this exact page and we are going to put it on the Retroulette. And we're gonna put you side by side. How's that? Old on the left, new on the right. Why does that not look the same though? What are you doing to me, Safari? Something with the resizing doesn't work quite right, so let's put you here. Let's undo that. No, something's off. Okay, it doesn't matter. We are going to put you on half display here and here. And if we put you two both on this, there we go. There we go, roughly that, and you are this here. Okay, so I fixed maybe a few more things. It's weird that this doesn't resize the way I thought it would. Why are you not doing that? Okay, so the new version is quite a bit better. It doesn't matter, I just want to show you the comparison of the before and after. Go, and there we go. So the new version is quite a bit less busy. It's not like these links don't lead anywhere. This still works, and we focus a bit more on the content. Before it was like, oh, look at my cool icons, and don't you like this color? There was a lot going on that wasn't helpful at all. And now there's at least a lot less going on that's being unhelpful. That is okay. I mean, it's an iteration, right? This is probably not going to stay exactly this way forever, but for now I'm happy with where I'm at. I'm going to clean this up a little. I don't think there's much to clean up this time around. And I'm going to publish that, and then we can see if next time we want to change something about the colors, about the icon sizes, or move to something else. The next two streams I'm going to have to skip. I will not be able to make it on Thursday, or, well, I might be able to make it on Tuesday, but I'm not sure. So at the latest, I'm going to see you next week, Thursday, same time, 10 AM Central European, or very late at night, unless I find I might be able to move it to the afternoon on Tuesday. Anyways, I hope this was at least entertaining, and you saw how we could move through Sketch, do the Tailwind type styles in there, and move it into code very, very quickly. Like I started from creating the component in Sketch from scratch, and then updating this in code afterwards in just not even 2 hours. So I'm quite happy. Thank you for joining me, and I will talk to you soon. Bye bye.